This is the first video in two with regards to sending messages using the schema. This is following pub/sub type of principles, but also some more related to Node or JavaScript patterns. So the first one is more of a JavaScript pattern, which we call Postmessage. If you ever used with Node.js as an example, sending messages to and from parts is used by using Postmessage. It's also used within just standard communications between web applications and web workers. So we're reusing the same name with the same sort of an idea that I want to send a message to a specific target. This is different to the pub/sub in a way that this is more targeted, but it still uses the event emitter infrastructure that we have to do the same message. So the event emitter will deal with pub/sub type of actions where you post and subscribe to a particular key, but the post message is a little bit more specific. And so what the post message actually does is that you give it a query, and the query is an HTML, no, let me rather rephrase that. It is a query selector to target an object in the DOM. So if we look at, the schema here, we've actually added an element called myComponent. And so how this works is that whenever a component has a function called onMessage, this function will be called with whatever message you define. So going to the schema, we have an action that's bound to a button, and when we click it, we say the action I want to perform is post message, and I want to find my component, so this will equal to a query selector that will find this object, and then it will pass the parameters on as a whole to that onMessage function. So when this thing comes through, you can see that we say change the h1's inner text to the message value, and that is the item that's defined here. So when I click on this now, you'll see, oops, let me just refresh. It says by default my component, because that's the default value. And when I click on the button, it sends that message via the event emitter to that particular component. It's caught on the my message, and it then changes this text. And so where can you use this? Any component that you can send messages to, you can essentially call in this way and send it arguments that that component will support.